Hello and welcome back to the Cupcake Jemma channel with me, Jemma. I'm here in the little kitchen in the studio with my pals Dane and Nikki, and I am going to make a Rocky Road. Now I've been wanting to make a Rocky Road but slightly more elevated because normally they're really simple and really easy to like whip up. But I guess I just wanted to make things a little bit more complicated for myself and for you. Sorry. This is going to be a Snickers inspired caramel and peanut Rocky Road. It's going to have homemade peanut nougat in it and little pockets of homemade salted caramels, nice and chewy ones. And it's going to have loads of sweet and salty flavours. And it's going to be totally worth the effort, guys. But if you don't want to go to all the trouble and you just want to go out and nip out to the shop and buy some Chewy Caramels and some actual Snickers perhaps to put in the Rocky Road, I will not judge you. You do what you need to do. If you're doing this with little kids and you just need to do it quickly and easily, I'm here for it. If you're doing it like I am and you're going to make it the best it can possibly be, you're going to need to do a couple of things in advance. You're going to need to make the salted caramels, which are these little guys, which are lovely sort of soft chewy numbers, and this delicious stuff, which I can't stop eating. This is the peanut nougat. I just made this by melting together 200 grams of caster sugar, 55 grams of butter, and then 60 grams of evaporated milk in a medium-sized pan over a medium-low heat. I kept stirring it just to make sure all of the sugar was dissolved and it was heating evenly, and I made sure I had a sugar thermometer in there too, because this mixture needs to reach 125 degrees C if the nougat is going to end up with a nice soft but set chewy texture. Do keep stirring it though, because of the evaporated milk, it does have a tendency to brown. When it hit 125 degrees C, I removed it from the heat and stirred in a whole jar, which is 213 grams of marshmallow fluff, along with 70 grams of smooth peanut butter, 100 grams of chopped salted peanuts, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Once it was all really well combined, I poured it into an 8 by 8 inch tin lined with greaseproof paper and then let it set completely. Now it's best to put it into the fridge before you cut it, just makes it easier to cut, makes the knife go through really nicely. And you'll probably have worked out in terms of like the weight of all the ingredients that went in versus what I've got here. You don't need all of it. So I've got 100 grams of it here, and obviously that's quite a lot less than what we've just made, but it's just difficult to make this sort of nougat in a small quantity. To get the best results, I do recommend doing that quantity rather than like halving it or quartering it. And with the leftovers, just keep it in between greaseproof paper, either at room temperature or in the fridge. You can even like wrap them individually in greaseproof and then give them to your mates. Now this is a really delicious set caramel, but it's not too set, it's not like crunchy. It'll stay quite nice and soft at room temperature. And the way that I made that was I first of all got my cream ready. I had 75 grams of double cream or heavy cream, and I added half a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a quarter of a teaspoon of sea salt and just gave that a little stir and then set it to one side. In a medium-sized pan, I put 115 grams of caster sugar and then got that cooking. It takes a little while, but when you see the sugar at the edges of the pan turning to liquid, you can start stirring it a little bit, just kind of bringing those edges into the center. And then eventually all the sugar will have melted and it'll be a beautiful golden amber color. At that point, you can take it off the heat and then grab your cream, pour a little bit in and give it a good stir. Now you want to pour all your cream in a little bit at a time, stirring really quickly, and be careful because it is very steamy at this point, so don't burn your fingers. Once all the cream's in, you can add 40 grams of butter. This is just from the fridge, doesn't need to be soft or anything. Just pop that in and then give it a stir until it's all melted, and then pop it back on the heat. And now you need to get this up to anywhere between 112 and 116 degrees C, depending on how firm you want your set to be. And then once it hits that temperature, you can just take it off the heat, let the bubbles subside because it will be really bubbly, and then pour it into a greased and lined small dish. Mine was about this big. I put it in the fridge to cook, to set completely, and then I cut it into little bits and kind of squish them together. And again, I didn't use all of it. It's quite a small amount of caramel really to be kind of halving it, so that's why I've done it at this amount. For now, I have a bain-marie here and I'm going to melt my chocolate and butter together. So I've got 340 grams here. Pop that into a heat-proof bowl over a simmering pan. I've also got 150 grams of butter, or as usual, it is unsalted. And then lastly, I've got 50 grams of golden syrup. You could use liquid glucose or corn syrup if you didn't have golden syrup. So just keep that on the heat. It's a sort of medium-low heat, and just stir it every now and then to melt all those ingredients together. Meanwhile, over here, grab yourself a big bowl, and into that, put 100 grams of these little mini marshmallows. along with 50 grams of Rice Krispies, or if you wanted, you could use like Cocoa Pops to make it even more chocolatey. I've also got 50 grams of salted peanuts, and then I'm gonna add my 100 grams of Peanut Nougat and my 100 grams of salted caramels. And then just give it a really good stir. It's looking pretty good, and this is now all melted and lovely and luscious, as you can see. No lumps of butter lurking, so that's ready. I'm gonna take that off the heat, just give it a little wipe because it would be really wet. And then just pour that straight in. And then you can pop it into a tin. I've got an 8 by 8 inch square tin, which I've greased and lined here. Squish it about with your spoon or a palette knife just to level it out a little bit. And then you just need to finish it off with a little sprinkling of extra marshmallows, if you so wish, I do, and some salted peanuts. And then once you're happy with it, you can just pop it into the fridge to set completely. This will take about an hour or two. Guys, here I am. I've got the studio to myself. I've got this whole thing to myself. I mean, I probably will share it. Well, I'll only be able to share it with Nikki because Dane is famously allergic to peanuts. Isn't that right, Dane?
That is very true.
Okay, so we don't want to make Dane ill, but I do want to get some of this in my gob. Now I can smell the peanuts. It smells so delicious and it smells sweet and vanilla-y and yummy. And as you can see, the cut through is really nice. You've got some pockets of caramel there. And I think if I left this a little bit to just hang out, some of that caramel might sort of slowly ooze out, like in slow motion. I've got all that lovely soft nougat. Yeah, really rich because we've used a really nice dark chocolate there. But you've got all that salty and sweet stuff coming through. Some really nice textures. You've got some crispy bits from the Rice Krispies, crunchy bits from the peanuts, chew from the caramel, the nougat. I didn't actually get some caramel. I see some here. An absolute delight. Please do give this a go. Either way, whether it's the cheats way or the full version, please put your pictures up using the hashtag Cupcake Jemma on Instagram or over on the Bake Club chat. And speaking of Bake Club, if you've liked this video and you really like what we do and you want to help to support us and keep doing what we're doing, then please do think about joining the Bake Club over on Patreon. It really does help. And we'll put a link to that in the description box below. I want some alone time with this. You're gonna have to leave me alone. Also, I just need to get away from Dane. That's my excuse. I need to just, you know, go away. Because I don't want to like make Dane ill. So I'm just gonna go over here and eat my peanut. Bye.